friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and God2, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Man saves 83-year-old father-in-law with Parkinson's from the LA fires in Pacific Palisades. Written by Hallie Wells, read by Julie Provost. Amidst the terrifying California wildfires, a devoted son-in-law saved his 83-year-old father-in-law, keeping him safe and helping him escape a deadly situation. California's devastating and tragic fires have birthed stories of loss, grief, inspiration, and courage. Aaron Sampson is the subject of one of those stories, a story of bravery overcoming fear. While staying with and caring for his father-in-law, who has Parkinson's disease and lives in Los Angeles, Pacific Palisades community, Aaron Sampson received an alert on his phone. It was January 7th, and the message advised residents that the area had a wildfire. Unsure of how to proceed, Aaron considered what he should do. He told CBS Mornings, "We got another ping through the phone, and at that point I went outside and saw smoke and fire near my father-in-law's house and realized we needed to go." Since neither Aaron nor his father-in-law had a car, Aaron called 911 and utilized Uber in an effort to evacuate. Ultimately, they got a ride from a kind neighbor. Aaron collected his father-in-law's medications, and the three started out in the area. The Associated Press said they were stuck in traffic for over 3 hours. Aaron shared with CBS Mornings, "As we were driving down, there are fires on both sides of the car. You can feel the heat, and the fires were getting closer and closer. We were completely stuck in traffic, and the fire jumped about 15 feet from the car on the right. The policeman started running up the street. 'Get out of the car! Get out of the car!' After helping his father-in-law from the car, Aaron led the older man down a hill and away from danger. However, Aaron heard his father-in-law say something unimaginable as they headed away from the flames. Aaron recalled, 'My father-in-law was saying, Aaron, if we were ever in a position where the flames are right there, you just run and leave me here.' Aaron never considered that. Instead, he encouraged his wife's wobbly father as he respectfully and politely directed him to safety, saying, 'You've got it, Dad, we got this.' At one point, Aaron turned to his father-in-law around, sat him on his walker, and wheeled him out himself. After walking for 15 minutes, another driver offered Aaron and his senior companion a ride. Of his father-in-law, Aaron told CBS Mornings that was a heroic effort on his part. When asked how the Palisades fire compared to past wildfires that he experienced, Aaron said, "This is huge. This will have ramifications in so many different ways. I can't put it into words how big it is and how much it has affected my family and me personally." When CBS Mornings reached out on January 9th, Aaron said that he and his father-in-law were doing okay. He's in Berkeley and his beloved father-in-law is in San Diego with relatives, he added. "We're alive, so that's the most important thing." So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. They greeted each other and then they went into the tent. Exodus 18:7.
The ship's drifting out of control. Get out of there now.
What happened? His cord snapped. Some called it impossible.
Okay, Dave, I don't know where I am.
Others call it a miracle.
Son, no, he's not.
Focus Features presents the inspirational true story.
I got an idea
that kept the world breathless.
This isn't working.
You can do this, buddy.
Starring Woody Harrelson.
Now!
And Simu Liu.
I'm not losing a diver today.
Last Breath, based on the true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters February 28th.
There's no place like Israel, rich in history, culture, and spiritual significance. From walking through ancient Jerusalem to floating in the Dead Sea or experiencing Tel Aviv's modern energy, it's a destination like no other. While I haven't visited yet, I've heard how life-changing it is. Now more than ever, we stand with Israel and pray for peace. I look forward to exploring its beauty one day. Learn more at goisrael.com.
Stranger jumps into frozen pond in South Carolina to save 3-year-old girl. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. A stranger jumps into a frozen pond in South Carolina to save a 3-year-old girl. Heather Britt never planned to be a hero that morning. Maybe she was just a mother, wrapped in a thick coat, watching her son revel in the rare gift of snowfall in South Carolina. Maybe she was just a neighbor, taking in the hush of winter as it settled over the lake subdivision, everything muffled under the weight of ice and wonder. Kendra Feinstein was enjoying the winter wonderland with her husband and daughter, Mira, but none of us thought love would ask for way more than we think we can give. That morning, the wind carried the sound first, the sharp cry of a child, the splintering crack of ice giving way. Heather turned, and in an instant she saw her, a little girl, no more than 3, swallowed up by the cold, dark water. It was Mira. She had followed the older boys out into the pond. The ice, a thin, deceptive veil beneath their small feet. Heather didn't hesitate. There was no time for weighing risks, no room for fear to take hold. She was already moving, breath held against the bitter shock of frigid water as she plunged in. The cold stole the air from her lungs, but her arms moved before her mind could catch up. The child's eyes were wide with terror, her tiny fingers grasping and slipping. The water clawed at them both, but love does that. It leaps, rescues, and refuses to let go. Heather clung to her, and then, as suddenly as it happened, another hand, Mira's father, pulled them both to safety. Later, when Mira's family wanted to find the woman who had saved her daughter, the kindness of the community made the connection. Heather never asked to be known for what she did, but love always finds a way to be seen. And isn't that the miracle? The love moves unseen, unbidden, through the willing hands of ordinary people who step into the cold and say yes to what God is asking. Though Heather may not have seen it this way, love mixed with faith and courage can give us the strength to do the impossible. Thanks to Heather, Mira is home now, warm and safe, because somebody was willing to enter the deep. And maybe the world is just a little warmer for it too. John 15:13. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.
The ship's drifting out of control. Get out of there now.
What happened?
His cord snapped. Some called it impossible.
Okay, Dave, I don't know where I am.
Others call it a miracle.
Son, no, he's not.
Focus Features presents the inspirational true story
I got an idea.
that kept the world breathless.
This isn't working.
You can do this, buddy.
Starring Woody Harrelson
Now!
and Simu Liu.
I'm not losing a diver today.
Last Breath, based on a true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters February 28th.